call is now being recorded.
Okay, we're back in the building, Channel 10 Podcast. Once again, make sure you check us out on iTunes, on channel10podcast.com, on Soundcloud, facebook.com/channel10podcast, twitter.com/channel10pod, instagram.com/channel10podcast, etc., etc. You kind of get the gist. channel10podcast@gmail.com. Yeah.
All right. So I guess going to another random hip hop tidbit about Kool Keith. And he recently, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, he was on the Combat Jack show. Talking about his career and, the ultramagnetic MCs and as Dr. Octagon and Black Elvis and so on and so forth. And also, they touched on new things that he was coming out with. And he's always coming out with something. I know he came out with, I think, something under his alter ego, I think, Deshaun Torset, I believe, or Norset, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, but one of his newer things is like he's been doing like a mixtape series entitled Total Orgasm, and he does it with I can't think of the DJ's name, but by the time the Combat Jack show interview came out, the Total Orgasm 3 came out, and it's primarily produced by him. I think minus maybe 3 or 4 songs that the DJ produces, and it's quite interesting because the DJ, he kind of makes these trap beats, and it's interesting hearing Kool Keith rap over them. But yeah, so Kool Keith he's number one. His name is number one producer, and obviously, we all know what Total Orgasm is about. Total Orgasm 3 is about. But he has these 3 other people. I don't know who they are, but they sound like rather young, who are all throughout the mixtape. And it kind of sounds like, his first album, Sex Style from 1997, I think, or 96?
Something like that. Wasn't that long ago?
Huh?
Man, I said, was it that long ago?
Well, yeah, it was a while ago, man. Yeah. Cause Dr. Octagon came out in 96. Yeah, Sex Style came out in 97. Okay, so yeah, so Kool Keith's second album. And it's a very dirty rap concept album about various things, but the way it opens up, and the beat is really hard. I like the beat. But, he's saying something like Sex Style, that dogs drink my piss, or something like that. I don't understand what that means, but just think of that one song, what the fuck he was talking about, and just put it all into Total Orgasm 3. And he's talking about some crazy, nasty shit, like, I was here, like, I listened to it like a while ago. Actually at Starbucks when I was doing work, and I was just listening to it because, he's Kool Keith, and I was kind of intrigued by the name, and I was surprised that I liked it. But I felt kind of bad. I mean, cause like the beats are really minimal, but they just fit for what for what he does, because Kool Keith has a weird type of flow, but for some reason his flow can kind of go on like any type of beat, and with Total Orgasm 3, it's just like the subject matter, like, I think he's gotten worse. Like certain things that he's talking about, now he's talking about women taking, like, spreading their legs and taking the shit and a dog bitch and shit like that now, and calling her like.
I don't know, like, the thing about Kool Keith, like, after I listened to that interview, I went and I listened to Sex Style, and I was trying to get into it, and, the first song, Sex Style, is just like, it's kind of rocking. But then he starts saying like some weird gay stuff, you know, or, you know, not a knock to them, but it's just some things that I'm not necessarily into, and it was a bit disturbing to, you know, have it in my ears, so I had to turn it off. And I was kind of like, this is almost like a necro album, but instead of horrorcore, well, I guess he calls it pornocore or whatever, but yeah. It's basically like a necro album, but for sex.
Yeah, but, and speaking of necro, have you ever listened to the Sexorcist?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, all right, well, I think he came out with the Sexorcist like a little before Death Rap, but then he re-released the Sexorcist I think like 2 other times because from what I'm understanding, he kind of like gained like a whole other type of following when he came out with the Sexorcist because, you know, he had like porn stars doing skits for it and shit. But I remember I did let you listen to that one song when he flips the Marvin Gaye joint, and he has like he cuts like the sample, and so it sounds like Marvin Gaye saying piss.
Yeah.
But actually, I didn't think about Necro's the Sexorcist, but the Sexorcist is pretty nasty, but it still doesn't match Total Orgasm 3. It may match Sex Style, but not like I'm telling you, like this shit is disgusting. But the beats are rocking, and everyone is like kind of on point. And even you know like the choruses, like the way they do it, kind of sort of like they had like certain songs where they'll have like the chorus would be like kind of like DJ Premier's, where they'll have like, you know, maybe like they'll have like, you know, sounds of a girl like moaning, right, and they'll be cutting in the background, but then on top of that they'll layer it with like another girl saying something crazy, and then they'll just keep like, you know, doing a backspin on it, and then who keeps saying like some crazy shit, but, you know, like a little two bar thing that he says, but it's so fucking absurd, but I like it. But let's put it like this though. When I was eating though, I had to stop eating because that's when he got to the thing about the girl shitting in a dog tray, and I couldn't take it anymore. I had to stop eating.
That's crazy. I mean, it kind of goes back to I think last podcast when we were talking about horrorcore, and you know, like, even though, you know, this seems like pure fantasy and everything, you know, how much of it is actually real or things that have happened or is somewhat inspired by real life.
Mhm.
And like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to listen. You know, I'll skim through it. I'll say that. Let me see if it's on Spotify.
Well, it's on SoundCloud and Bandcamp, and it's not chops. It's an actual mixtape. You know, he's so old school that he doesn't believe in chopping mixtapes up.
Okay.
But the thing is though, I kind of believe most of the shit he says in these songs because, you know, Combat asked him, you know, how do you come up with like a thing about Black Elvis, and he says, well, because, you know, I was living my life and I felt like I was like Black Elvis. I was living my life like a rock star. And so I'm telling you, I was really the Black Elvis, and I believe it. I believe him because also, you know, he you know that song, you know, like that rock song that he's on, the Smack My Bitch Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it kind of seemed like he kind of, you know, his life kind of changed, kind of sort of in a way when he did that, and that was on top of Dr. Octagon, which is kind of crazy overseas in a way. And then he comes back with Sex Style, and I guess, you know, it just, because also he was in LA too. We're walking up and down Sunset Boulevard just talking like to porn stars and shit like that.
Yeah, I do remember when he was talking about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he has, most of the shit he's talking about, that he has lived.
Yeah, well, he's probably seen in person.
Yeah, even the thing about the girl shitting in the dog tray, probably. Oh man.
Yeah, but the thing, I don't know. One thing about Kool Keith that I do find inspiring is how he was able to reinvent himself and continues to do so, and just put out music the way that he wants to do it, under whatever name he wants to do it, whatever. Because, like, coming out in the 90s with Ultramagnetic, and then, after that fizzled out, for most people that career would have been completely over. But he was just able to reinvent himself and keep on going. And I guess it's kind of like a similar thing with, like, an MF Doom. Starting off as Zev Love X and KMD, and then after that group fizzled out, he was able to reinvent himself and come out under another name and just keep on rocking. And there's a lot of I guess I kind of admire artists who are able to do that. Like even CeeLo Green when he came out with Danger Mouse and got the whole pop thing going on, but he can still flip it back to CeeLo when he wants to. Anytime I see an example of that, I think that really shows, like a true artist, like,
Yeah. I would say, like, even like, my style, I think to a certain extent, it kind of comes from Kool Keith because I think he has, like, one of, like, the best flows in hip-hop because it's so off-kilter, but the way he does it, it can fit with like any beat, and like at least on Total Orgasm. That's another thing about him. Like on Total Orgasm 3, I have yet to go back and listen to the other two, but he's rapping on certain trap beats, and he fits on them. And they're not exactly your I guess the typical trap beat that you'll probably hear on let's say 92Q or something like that, but you know what it is when you hear it, and he's on it, and he just sounds. I don't know. He doesn't sound like his age. He sounds like he really reinvents himself whenever he feels the need to.
That's what's up. I'm sure his ability to do that is definitely keeping his pockets full.
He's on tour all the time, and I can only imagine. I would love to know like what he actually performs. He had like so much shit, so many aliases. Like, what does he actually perform in his shows?
That's a good question. Like, it's actually something I was thinking about the other day too. Like, with certain artists, and it must be even harder for somebody who has multiple different aliases, because like are you performing under this one alias, like are you being booked as this one alias or whatever, especially if different aliases have different fan bases, or like do you do a set of one, a set another, a set of another. And I was thinking about Nas and how his career started in like 93. And he has this vast catalog of music, but whenever you see him perform, it's pretty much just songs from Illmatic. And then like maybe a couple of his bigger hits from other albums, but even not so much that. It's just usually Illmatic, maybe like a Nas's like off of It Was Written, and then like a single or two from his most recent album that he has coming out. And it's like, I wonder what certain artists' thought processes are when they pick songs to perform, because to me sometimes it seems like they just might not have a certain respect for their own catalog that maybe their fans do.
Well, I remember some years ago when Nas, he did Rock the Bells, he performed Illmatic in its entirety.
I saw that.
That's what I always say you were there. But
But see, I don't think I was there when he broadcasted that he was performing Illmatic in its entirety. I think it was just supposed to be a regular show, but it was Illmatic in its entirety, and then a couple other songs here and there.
Oh, okay. So I mean, did he do the whole Illmatic all the way through, or did he like go back in between?
I think he did like all the songs, but it wasn't necessarily in order. And then I'm trying to think what album he had that was about to come out at the time.
Had to be the nigga album on that song, right?
Yeah, it was, I think, because he did that song that he did with that single that he had with Carrie Hilson.
Oh God, Hero.
Yeah. So he pretty much did Illmatic. He did like Nas's like. Maybe another song from somewhere else, and then like ended it off with like Hero. And then he might have did like The Slave and the Master, I'm a Nigga, Who You a Nigga Too, that didn't even end up being on the album.
Man, Nazi, man, he need to say fuck it and start doing the Fair Man Dingos, and like in all of his at this point in all of his song his concerts with that. And I'm so upset, man, when no disrespect to Styles P. I love Styles P and damn near all of his mixtapes, but the Green Ghost Project, but Green Lantern, how he rapped over the Fair Man Dingo beat.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and then like. When you actually hear Fear of Mandingo, it's like, damn, like that would have been dope for that mixtape that he had that came out before the album. That was a dope mixtape, and it's like, how is this song not on the album or on the mixtape?
I mean, well, I'm sure there's a reason why for that.
Yeah, and then he had some other songs too that didn't even make it on the mixtape. Like, I don't know, like sometimes. Certain artists have certain songs, and it's like, man, this song really could have been something, but you didn't put it on anything. It just kind of came out, and only somebody who's really checking for it is really going to hear it, and then you bring it to somebody else, and they have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Man, like, the nigga album was cool to me, but, like, let's say if he cut out the joint that had the Chris Brown game joint, the Hero joint. Hello?
Yeah.
So those two joints, and maybe even the Fox songs that had a better beat or whatever, I don't know. And he, and everything else he kept for the most part. And then he had Roaches. Mm-hmm. And then the top three songs would be it'll be Roaches, Slave and the Master, and then he'll end it with Fair Man Dingo. And I'm thinking in my head, like sometimes I want, because how the new beat that Kanye is kind of taking, that he doesn't give a fuck no more. He just comes out with an album whenever he feels like it, or he just does whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
I feel like if Nas did exactly that, because I somehow feel that if he bitched enough or something like that, he probably could have gotten his way. Maybe not with making the album called Nigga, but at least with the songs.
I think he was a little bit ahead of. I think he was a little bit too early with that. Like, if it would have been now when he did that. Mm-hmm. And just dropped out of nowhere, like now where an album being in Walmart or Target doesn't necessarily mean anything anymore. I think it could definitely have been a lot bigger and a lot more successful now, and he could have really gone hard with that nigga title and put Fear of Mandingo on there and other tracks and really made it like a big thing. So I think he kind of jumped the gun on that one a little bit. Mm-hmm. And maybe even with the Hip Hop Is Dead too. Like certain things, like those two projects, I think were failed by the traditional album release process. of, you know, you come out with a single. Like, just imagine if Kendrick Lamar's new album would have gone through that same process. Like, it would have been a complete and utter disaster.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, it's funny because I mean, it seems like it was really Beyonce that kind of, you know, opened that field wide open.
I think so, but really, I would say it was Lil Wayne. And I would say that because the Carter 3 leaked like a month earlier, something like that.
Yeah.
And it still sold 1 million in its first week. But just imagine if iTunes and everything like that was popping back then, and as soon as it leaked, they put it out for sale, like, instantly. Like, that thing might have done 2 million. Like, that might have been the biggest selling first month ever in history of music. Because for it to sell as much as it did, I mean, 10 million people probably had that joint.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wasn't necessarily expecting it, but I think one moment that I'll always remember is when that Lollipop video came out. And I think that was like the first time I'd ever seen somebody drop a video first before the song. Because I always drop the song, then you drop the video. But one day, that shit just popped up on World Star. And it was a wrap after that.
Because I think after that's when they started like premiering music videos, and then like music videos a big thing for like a short period of time.
I believe so, yeah.
But I believe MTV premiered Lollipop.
Oh, maybe they did. I just remember seeing it on World Star in the middle of the night, but maybe it was MTV that did that.
Yeah, because it was like a big thing. Yeah, like, you know, Lil Wayne's new song, but it's coming out as a music video first before you even have the actual song, something like that.
Yeah. And see, that goes. I think that's another album that I didn't really care for, and I still don't care for it. But you know, for the time, you know, it definitely takes me back to a certain time.
Yeah, I mean, just think about how many years that, you know, our uncle will always play Lollipop and talk about the beat and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you just cut the vocals out, if you just play the beat, you just ride the club all night with that one beat.
Oh man, you know what else he says that for? Is that damn LL Cool J album?
Oh yeah, with the
with Timberland.
Oh, you talking about the entire album or just Headsprung?
I think he's referring to the entire album, which I haven't heard, but all I know is Headsprung.
Yeah, you know, the entire album sounds like Headsprung. The entire album is nothing but like a whole bunch of club shit.
Oh man. I haven't really heard the entire album, but I can see our uncle getting down to something like that.
I mean, yeah, but like Headsprung, I think it was like Peter Rosenberg and Cypher was talking about it, and I think someone was talking about how Headsprung wasn't supposed to be like what it became to be. And
I guess when something like that happens, you just roll with it. But with somebody like LL Cool J, it's like sometimes you got to think about how it's going to affect your legacy.
I think Peter Rosenberg said that too. I mean, because it's like the way he even started off. He said they call me Big LA, Big Sally, Big Telly, Big Money, Big Really, or some shit like that. Oh man.
I don't know, like, I never could figure out what that song was about.
I don't understand. You know, one song that I always kind of figured that what it was about, but now I finally know was about was the nerd song, the girl standing in line for the bathroom.
Oh wow, yeah, all the girls standing in the line for the bathroom.
Yeah, and in my head I said, I know this shit has to be about coke, But I just, in my head, I was like, man, maybe I'm just thinking too much into it. And then Pharrell came out and said, yeah, it was about coke. and then Peter Rosenberg was like getting on him about, you know, about him going over people's heads and, you know, being too intelligent about it or something like that. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that's pretty, you know, pretty out there though. I mean, cause
I don't think so. I mean, I got it immediately.
Well, so I mean, so you automatically knew that was about coke.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I think it's pretty, you know. I mean out there. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah,
but
it's pretty straightforward. But I mean, I guess, but that goes to, you know, culture and stuff like that. So, like, you know, if you're not up on certain things or aren't in certain atmospheres, or, you know, just haven't even seen certain movies or something like that, you know, you wouldn't necessarily know.
Well, yeah, that's true. And, you know, coke nowadays really isn't a black thing. It's all about crack and heroin, unfortunately.
And you know, it's less of a party type of thing and more of a decimation of our community type thing.
Yeah. You know what I always like. I never really understood like what is it about like smoking coke? I mean, snorting coke on a mirror. Does it enhance the high or what?
I've never done it, so all I know, I mean, maybe something about seeing yourself while you do it, or I don't know, maybe it helps you to not miss any granules or grains of the powder.
Maybe. I mean, sometimes in my head I'm like, you know, why would you want to see yourself snort coke? But
I guess to make sure you don't get any, you know, have any crumbs or any
maybe. I don't know, man. Who was it about? I think I remember a lot of Dog Man. I think it was on the first mixtape he came out with J Love, and he was talking about it was on do you remember? It was like a random cut. It was like Method Man, a lot of Dog Man, and I think someone else. And it had like a hard beat. I'm assuming that Mathematics made it. And he was talking about smoking a blunt with cocaine hands and how high he was getting or something like that.
I feel like that was on the Mathematics album.
Okay, well, which one though? Because the thing is, I was introduced to it through the one of those Wu-Tang J Love mixtapes, and then you know a lot of Dark Man's J Love mixtape.
I have no idea. I just know that I always used to see these songs, these random like Wu-Tang type of songs come out, and it would be like produced by Mathematics or Mathematics featuring, and it's like, oh, he has an album coming out, and I always mean to listen to him, but I never did. I'm sure because of me, you listened to his second album that they had real niggas on it. Oh yeah, I do remember that.
That album was pretty. That was alright. It wasn't bad actually.
Yeah.
But as of late, I have yet to really get into all these. I think he has like 2 or 3 other ones nowadays, and I haven't gotten into them. I have yet to listen to the other Wu-Tang Think Differently thing, the second compilation.
Yeah, wasn't it like some dubstep type of stuff or something?
I think some of it was. I don't think all of it was. I know that Brand New Bean, didn't they come up with a whole dubstep album or something like that? Or remix?
Yeah, I think they did. It's kind of interesting because when you watch, what's his name, on Vlad TV, Lord Jamar on Vlad TV, it's just like, that doesn't necessarily fit, but whatever gets the money, I guess.
How do they? I know that. Brand Nubian, they tour across the world, but still though. I still don't exactly understand how Cool Mega makes his money. How does he survive?
I imagine off of touring.
I don't know. You would think you would hear about him touring, but I guess he tours. AZ, supposedly AZ tours like in London, and people love him in Japan, he says, and shit like that. But I guess we wouldn't really know about him touring in Japan or whatever.
I guess with AZ, he got that Illuminati hookup supposedly.
Yeah.
That J Electronica Illuminati hookup.
Yeah.
Billionaire heiress.
It's weird that, why is it that people keep, getting on AZ about, his so-called connections with, the billionaire heiress, but no one really talks about J Electronica and what the fuck he did.
I think they do, but it's just like when J Electronica drops a song, it's like you can't really front on it most of the time. Well, you can, but for people like me. Except that last one. That last one was a little underwhelming to me. But
you know what? Naturally, I didn't know he even came out with new songs, and I kind of came across him. And the last one, I didn't. What was he called anyway?
I don't even know. Let me see. I think it's on the Crack Tracks SoundCloud page.
Yeah.
Let me see. Crack Tracks, J Electronica, Road to Perdition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z, Let That Shit Breathe or whatever like that.
Yeah.
It was cool, but the shit that he did in Road to Perdition, that's the shit that I'm afraid his album is going to sound like. And I think the reason why I tend to front on him when he comes out with these new songs or new verses is because I listen to all of his old shit so much that I guess maybe I just have maybe an overly high expectation of what his album should be.
I feel like I don't know. I really enjoyed pretty much every new song he's come out with, except for Road to Perdition.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Every time he raps, man, it just I don't know. It's just like his verses. They just hit to me. Like just the other day, I was listening to he and Jay-Z's freestyle on "We Made It." And it's like he comes on, and it's like, damn, like he's really doing his thing. And then Jay-Z comes on, and Jay-Z just kind of kills it. And it's like, Jay-Z doesn't usually do it like this, but he had to step his game up because J Electronica was on the track. I was kind of surprised not to see J Electronica at the whole title thing.
What title thing?
When Jay-Z did that whole thing and all these artists had bought into Tidal or whatever, that music streaming service.
Oh yeah.
But
maybe he doesn't have enough money for it.
Maybe. Or maybe Jay-Z was trying to call him and just couldn't get a hold of him.
Yeah, maybe. Going to I don't know, thinking about J Electronica for some reason has me thinking about Black Milk. And I say that because he's one of those people that, for some reason, like at least me, you know, he was like, I just kind of like how Jay Electronica was, you know, like, you know, at one point he was like all you ever heard about, and then he just kind of disappeared in a way. But then yet, whenever you look him up, he's still like doing shit, but it's just not. Maybe it's not that people don't care as much anymore or something. I don't know.
I feel like he focuses more on production and rapping, but I don't know, man. Like, am I allowed to say this? Like, a lot of times this shit is boring.
We're talking about Black Milk.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing, because remember, because his album Tronic that came out like 2008.
Yeah.
I remember, like, you know, that album was like the talk of the town. You know, he was doing his thing, I think he even like performed on like one of those late night shows off this fucking album. And after Tronic, you know, because I thought that, you know, because I would always hear about him, you know, doing like a beat for so and so here and there, whatever like that. And he came out like an album, and then he didn't really do nothing. And then when Tronic came out, he was all the rage on, like, you know, on all the blogs. And of course, it was still like around the same time where, you know, the blogs were still like pretty, you know, that's pretty early in the blogging days. So I think like a lot of underground people were able to take advantage of it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think, you know, J. Cole too, because, you know, if you go back to his early mixtapes, he kind of sounded like an underground rapper.
I mean, yeah. I think the thing with that Black Milk Tronic album was that it was just it was kind of co-marketed with that Elzai album, the preface, because he produced that whole thing, I think, or if not the whole thing, pretty much the whole thing. I just put up on Wikipedia. The whole album was produced by Black Milk except for 2 tracks. And one was by T3 from Slum Village, and another was somebody named DJ Dez.
Yeah. Thing was, though, I never heard about the preface. I only heard about Tronic.
I remember, like, hearing about them both together. And just that whole Detroit thing, it's like, whenever you can establish a connection with Jay Dilla, you can kind of do something with that. At least, like, when you first come out with it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I think that has something to do with it, because he produced the album for Elzai. Elzai was a member of Slum Village for a while, and, you know, that's just kind of my feeling on it.
No, it's weird. It's so weird, like hearing Elzai, you know, like how he actually is, and then, you know, just remembering him like on those Slum Village music videos, and how cool and chill and laid back he was. But if you listen to the I finally listened to the preface, like, you know, some days ago. This nigga he's rapping about having dreams about him having his gun and shit like that, you know, about killing people. So I don't know what to say about that. And how the fuck did you?
Like I was gonna say, like, it makes you wonder how he got down with Slum Village in the first place.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, like, how the fuck did he end up on Slum Village? Because, I mean, you go to the preface. I mean, even Illmatic, you know, from what I can recall, but after listening to the preface, I'm curious to go back and listen to Illmatic, because that won't be like my second time re-listening to it all the way through.
Man, I usually hate shit like that, but that shit was dope, man.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's what still kind of turns me off about it. Like, I don't really like hearing no renditions of, you know, Illmatic, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the way that they flipped the beats and did everything, and, you know, I mean, he was really spitting on there, and it just really fit together. I remember I played that for a long time. You probably remember too.
I do remember it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, I want to go back and listen to Elmatic, and you know, I still think about his verse on the new Ghostface album, and you know now I think that's like the prime example, and it reminds me of the importance of I guess, you know, being a featured artist on someone else's, you know, track, because you just never know, you know, the person whose album you're featuring on, their fan base. You don't know, like, you know, what that other person's fan base is going to get out of, you know, you being featured on that guy's track. And because of that one track, I have, you know, I've regained a whole new respect for Elzhi, and now I'm going back and listening to his stuff.
Yeah, wow. Features are important, but I mean, it kind of, it's like sometimes you can pinpoint the moment or like the, you know, the catalyst in somebody's career being a certain feature. So like, and you know, whether they take advantage of the moment or not. Like, when you look at Lupe Fiasco on Touch the Sky, you know, that was really his introduction. I mean, he was on Kanye West's second album on the single produced by Just Blaze, and he bodied that verse when he said something about Mum, like he did this whole entendre with Mum Ra and trying to remember what he said. I can't really remember. I just remember like, damn, like that's some shit that you gotta really rewind and take in.
Mhm.
And he gained a lot of fans with that verse. And then go ahead.
Is that the one when he's like Lupe something like Lupe the Third?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and then on that same album, like, I think, you know, a feature can solidify you in hip hop history, even if you never do anything ever again. Like, really though.
Shit, look at so many of them. Capadonna, Afura, Jeru the Damsel in a way, because what was it on Mass Appeal when he got like his first feature on the skit. Yeah. Although, you know, he went on to do other things, but still, shit. I mean, that's kind of the way. I mean, Master Killer kind of got he became a member of the Wu-Tang Clan because of, you know, that one song.
Yeah, he was only on one song on that album.
Yeah.
And like but yeah, like like, you remember Really though?
I don't think so.
Remember the song on Late Registration, We Made It, with Nas?
Vaguely.
Oh man, that was like it was produced by Just Blaze. That's the one where Nas, is it the song, or maybe it was in another song where Nas said, you know, pro-black, I wouldn't pick cotton out of aspirin bottle.
Yeah.
And there was a random ass Chicago rapper on that named Really though, and like that was like one of the and his voice sounds like Lupe, and I know he did actually come out with like some album independently, and Kanye was on it, but like, you know, he's always going to be on them credits, or like trying to think of somebody else. Even you look at Gemstones, Gemini. But yeah, those, you know, those features are definitely important. Look at even if J Rock never comes out with another album, he was on Money Trees on Kendrick's first album. Yeah,
I mean, well, when it comes to Gemstones, at least I like to think that, you know, he's done something else.
He did come out with another mixtape, a third one.
Yeah, he did. It was I mean, it was alright. I mean, but he killed that I don't like track though.
I gotta hear either I heard it and forgot about it, or I didn't listen to it and meant to.
Well, I think it was you I played it for, if I'm not mistaken.
I gotta go back and listen to. My memory is getting pretty bad in my old age.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, man, like, I mean, I don't know what Jim Stones is doing, but he needs to come back out with another album or something, a mixtape.
I don't know. He and No Malice probably in church right now.
You know, I never thought about that way. You know, they come up with a collaborative album.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes there's no more disappointing moment in a hip hop fan's life than when, you know, a rapper who you really like decides they want to find Jesus.
Yeah, man, look at Lil Zane.
Oh, man. Shoot, look at Chingy. You know, I ain't really like him, but he's a Hebrew Israelite now.
Yeah, I mean, but he's gotten better though. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, he's actually spitting a couple, but he's not on no shaky what you got for a pork chop no more.
I know, but then at the same time, I'm sure he's probably still receiving royalties from it.
Yeah, I'm probably living fine, like.
So he can afford to fight the revolution.
Man. But, speaking of Chingy and St. Louis and all that, Nelly, man.
Oh, man.
He got caught. And, you know, it seemed like, you know, when I was reading the story, I was like, you know, this seems pretty typical. I don't know why this is a big deal until they say he got caught with meth. And I guess the funny part about it, well, you know, it's not funny, but I guess the light and the darkness of the situation is like the jokes of, you know, him doing songs with them country music people and hanging white people.
Yeah.
It got him down the wrong path. And then there was some jokes about, like, Ashanti jumping off that sinking ship.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna get out of it.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm sure he's too rich to. I mean, but like, I don't know. I mean, like Nelly doing meth. Who the fuck would have thought? I mean, if it is, so we.
Yeah, I mean, Nelly is a grimy dude, though. I mean, you know, I mean, we talk about it a lot, but I'm going down, down, baby. Your block in a Range Rover, street sweeper, baby. Cop ready to let it go. Shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Puff. Listen to it, pow. Take a puff and light it up. Pass it to me now. And it's always funny when you hear 50 Cent. It's always funny when you hear 50 Cent talk about it. Whatever that interview was when he was like, you know, people talk about me, but you look at Nelly. He said he's going to drive down your block with an automatic weapon and shoot it up and smoke a blunt. But he made it sound like a nursery rhyme.
I mean, it's very true, and you know that it's weird how people go back. You know, I guess like hip hop is they tend to go back and they look back at like Nelly's like first two albums, especially Country Grammar, and they appreciate it.
Not me. I don't know, man. I remember for some reason one of my cousins being over at their house and just playing that shit, and it just was so bad. Like, I remember hearing Country Grammar, and I liked it. Then I remember that Underlay joint, and I liked that too. And then whatever the third single he came out with, I was like, oh, he really raps like this all the time.
Are you talking about Ride With Me?
Maybe that's what it was, probably.
Because I think it had to be before Dilemma.
Yeah, whatever his third single was, I was like, oh, I didn't know he was gonna keep on going with this. I just thought maybe, something else was gonna come. But I do appreciate a Nelly single here and there. Like I did like that Eagle song.
Yeah, man, that beat is crazy.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I didn't like it at first, and I think a lot of people don't really get it. But when you really sit and listen to it, it's like, damn, like it's like real abstract.
Yeah,
it's like I wonder when he first got that beat and when he heard it, like how he knew what to do. He did over that.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Like, he must have been high off of something to even hear that and know, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do to that. Because I was trying to think, like, if somebody would have just let me hear that shit, I'd have been like, what?
because and if you just hear the instrumental, you'll probably just like you say, oh, well, I can't rap on that. That's something that's something used for a skit or something like that. In a way.
I mean, he made it work.
Yeah, and he's one of the very few rappers who's come out with two albums in the same year.
Yeah.
Or at the same time, at least.
On the same day.
Yeah.
Eunice is M, Pimp Juice, and us.
Yeah, man. That Pimp Juice drink was the worst, man.
You said the joint or the drink?
Yeah, the drink.
Oh, you had it?
Yeah. It was mad sweet, and it tasted like a green lollipop, but after that I started coughing up green shit. Yeah, so I bought two of them too.
I never had Pimp Juice, and I never had Crunk Juice. I can't like have something called Pimp Juice and pour it into my mouth. My conscience just would not allow me to do something like that.
I think it has to be a highlight. Oh my god! All right. Well, I've had corn juice before, and it tastes like Red Bull pretty much.
Where did you find this stuff? Man, you must have been deep in the netherlands of just you must have been in in the hood.
I was at okay, so actually, the story is kind of coming back to me. One day, because I think at this time I think they had like little commercials for the Pimp Juice drink, and I think it was nothing but like a silenced and chopped version of the song Pimp Juice, and they would just talk about the Pimp Juice drink or some shit like that. And one day I made a pillage to my dorm just to go get some Pimp Juice. And I was going everywhere looking for it. And like before they changed my dormant up, it was like that weird liquor store like that was all the way in the back, maybe like on the second or third floor, where you could get like your numbers and bunch of shit. Yeah. They had like a little small refrigerator. They had a whole bunch of Pimp Juice in it. So, of all places, I figured I could probably go there and get it. Yeah, so I got 2 of those because I just knew they was gonna be good. So I made sure I got 2 of them. And
you poured it into your mouth.
Well, wait, no, you know, on my way home, I couldn't resist it. I couldn't resist the pimp juice, so I had to crack one open. And then I proceeded to pour it in my mouth. And I was walking past cops, and I was like, oh man, this is really sweet. And I get back home and I started coughing up green shit.
Oh man.
And actually, you know what, I think I threw the other can away after a while, because my mother would keep, because I was trying to give it to someone. It didn't work. Never worked out. And then when I had crunk juice, it was like maybe like a year or 2 later, and it was you know, I was with my brother, and I think around that time, you know, since crunk juice was like the thing to do, instead of mixing your Hennessy with Red Bull or Hypnotic, you're mixing it with crunk juice for the moment. And my brother, you know, he was doing that, and they had I think he got like a 6-pack of crunk juice, some shit like that, and I think it probably costed more than Red Bull at the time. So I just took a can and started drinking it, and it wasn't bad. But yeah, crunk juice is horrible.
Well, I'm glad that I never experienced that. Thank you for being a guinea pig for that experience. It kind of reminds me of Four Loko, the way you described it.
Oh yeah, that was the worst, man.
Man, that shit was bad. I had to stop fucking with that shit. I can't believe I put that into my body.
Yeah, it's not right. Is it still around?
I think so, but you know they had to change their initial formula because people were dying.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like,
I threw up off that shit, and I didn't even have a whole can the first time.
oh man,
I think that shit, like, it just made me real sick. And then I went back and drank some more later that night.
Damn.
I had to stop messing with that. That shit was no good. That's what I call that unemployed juice.
Yeah, man, I think I had like 2 cans. And I know, cause I don't know where the fuck I got the can. I don't think I was even 21 yet.
I think you were with me that night. You probably with me that night.
Well, I know that there was one time where I had like 2 cans of Four Loko by myself in the house, and I think I was hitting you up and other people saying like this shit is wrong. So I don't know where the fuck I got them from, but I
remember being at your brother's house and having some too.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was all on it, and he was about to make a Four Loko song.
Oh yeah.
And he kept playing that one song, I Go Loco for Them Locos.
Oh man, wow. That's why that Coco song sounded so familiar to me.
Oh.
Like I never really realized, like, I was like, for some reason this Coco song, it just reminds me of something, but I couldn't remember what it was. I Go Loco for Them Locos, and it was all them Four Loko songs. And that one right there.
Damn.
That shit was crazy. But I guess elsewhere in hip hop news, this divorce court where the husband is divorcing his wife, accusing her of sleeping with the entire Wu-Tang clan. And I don't know, like, what made it worse was, like, what she said.
Oh, man.
Did you read it?
No, I haven't read it yet, no.
Oh, man. Hold on, let me pull up the quote. Because when I saw the quote, like, at first I thought it was just kind of ridiculous. But then when I saw the quote that his wife said, I was like, I feel you, my brother. Okay, so here's a snippet of it. I'm reading this on Smoking Section. The woman says, he accused me of sleeping with the entire Wu-Tang clan, Nathan. She did, the woman. I went backstage, the judge. So did you know him? And she said, well, yes. I had an amazing one night. I had a really good opportunity. Nathan, it was amazing, all right, judge. So we know it was amazing. How amazing was it? Leah, the woman. It was, and then Nathan cuts her off. She gave Wu some tang.
Oh, man.
And then, like, another thing, like another snippet I saw on Hip Hop DX, it said something about how, she said how they were perfect gentlemen, and she went on that tour bus, and she didn't come home till 7 in the morning.
Yeah, it does not sound right.
It does not sound right at all. Like, I don't know, man. Like, the moment my girl wants to go somewhere with some celebrity to a tour bus or a hotel or backstage or whatever, it's a wrap. Like,
yeah.
Like, just straight up, like.
You know, it's, like on the one Epstein, you know, when I think Cypher Sound said, you know, like, at the end, like, all those stories about, certain rappers and how they would say that, like, the girl they were fucking with, a lot of times, their man would be, like, downstairs and, like, the waiting, like, the waiting area waiting for him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, what the fuck they think they're doing? Like, you know, why would they want to come to a hotel? And why are you just sitting, like, why are you sitting there? Like, you know, they're just going back and forth about what is the woman saying to the boyfriend? When he said the situation.
My thing is, with this whole culture of celebrity, like, people really put too much value into celebrity. Like, these people are just people. And, like, I see these people as just people. But other people don't. They make a big deal out of it, and they lose their minds. But, you know, these people are just people. They all started from somewhere. They all have bodily functions. You know, they're not gods. It's nothing to go crazy about. Like, hell no. I'm not having that. I am not having that.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know what to say about this shit. I mean, because, you know, like, reality TV is, like, really is totally just, like, you know, had really given a new definition to the term 15 minutes of fame. But yeah, you know, like, I don't, like, you know, your people who are, you know, hosting parties and shit like that, certain various functions, getting, you know, 10 G's a piece to do it, and they don't have any talent.
It's like it's really crazy. I was just thinking earlier when we were talking about Jay Electronica, I was thinking, you know, is he destined for a reality TV show one day?
And why do you say? Because like his personality, or?
I mean, because like just some of the people who you see pop up on there who you would never expect. Like I would have never thought that Saigon would be on there. And like Saigon to me was like the Jay Electronica before Jay Electronica. And you know, he kind of followed that same kind of path in a way, you know, dealing with Just Blaze and being the real hip-hop that was going to come out with this amazing conscious album that was going to be the greatest album ever and transform the world. And then now I mentioned Saigon to somebody, and it's like, how do you know who that is? Your wife loving hip-hop?
Oh, man, that shit drives me up a wall. Oh, man, like, when I walked past, I remember the first time I saw Peter Guns, man, on this shit, and I think it was Peter Guns and I think with Saigon, they were smoking a cigar together. And I was walking past the TV, and I guess it was like one of the monologue moments, like in a reality show, when someone's talking about, like, you know, what they're about to show. And he's like, yeah, man, you know, I was going through everything with my girl, so, you know, I had to hit my man up, you know, my man Saigon up, you know, and we just, you know, talking over these girl problems, you know, over cigars. And I'm like, there's someone else named Saigon in the world? And so I'm looking, and I was amazed. I said, what is this? Peter Guns and Saigon on VH1, smoking cigars and making all this money on this reality show. I was amazed.
And you know what's crazy is the other day I was in the car with my girl, and they happened to play Uptown. And so that song, because it was like, you know, the throwback mix at noon or whatever. And I was like, this is it right here. This is Peter Guns. This is what he's known for. This is what I know him from. I used to love this song when I was little.
And of course, she doesn't care at all.
Yeah, of course, she never heard it, and, you know, whatever. But, you know, like, just the way that song came on and everything, like, that just takes me back to my summer times in New York. Like, all of that history just gone.
Yeah. See, this is why podcasts are important, so we can kill that shit.
I know, right? Like, you know, you got people on there who produce for Biggie, and now they're known for whatever it is that they're known for on there. But I mean, I guess, you know, people gotta do what they gotta do. I guess, you know, the whole situation, really it all started with Flavor Flav.
Yeah, but you know, the thing about Flavor Flav was, they know he's Flavor Flav, so, you know, he can do that type of stuff.
Yeah. But still, like, even though he was Flavor Flav, and even though, you know, he was just riding the wave of, I guess, Public Enemy, it's just like, man, you were still part of Public Enemy. Like, you wore that clock to let niggas know what time it was.
Well, that's true.
Like you shared the stage with Chuck D. You told me that 911 ain't a joke in my town. Like, that's a message that is definitely pertinent today.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But you know, you're probably more known for Flavor of Love and making a failed chicken spot.
And dealing with Bridget Nielsen.
What is she doing now?
I have no idea.
Oh, 15 minutes up.
Yeah, right. But speaking of Public Enemy, you know, I remember the other day you were talking about X-Clan, and I've actually To the East Blackwards. I've been meaning to put that on my Google Play for like the past year now, and I finally did that. I finally added Devil's Night D12 there. I had a crazy flashback, man, listening to like the first 5 songs. And I think some other things too, but I realized that essentially X-Clan and Public Enemy, they kind of had the same structure. You know, that you have your serious rapper who's like, you know, he's not playing, but then you kind of have an entertaining person to talk in between all these serious raps.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, you know, where did that whole thing come from?
I think it came from, now, just thinking about it, I just came with the theory. I think it's just a general thing that just happens. Like, it's like when you look at movies, you always kind of have your straight man, and then you have your comic dude.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's the same thing in hip-hop. Even, sometimes it's not even that extreme, but, like, it's like you got your Wu-Tang clan, and you got all these guys, and you have your ODB type of element. Or, like, you got your Q-Tip, and you got your Fife Dog to bring a little bit more flavor. You got your Talib Kweli, and you got your Mos Def who's doing da-da-da-da's and singing all on the track.
Yeah.
You got your Fonte, and then you got your Big Pooh.
Mm.
And, it's always that kind of thing. And, I was listening to Big Pooh on the Cypher, and he was talking about how, like, when you're in a group, sometimes you just play your role to make the group work. And so, you gotta kind of play off the other person. So I think that's where it kind of comes from, because when you look at a group like that, it kind of works versus, like, let's say you have a group like Slaughterhouse where you just have 4 guys just going and going and going super hard. It's no real break from that shit. I think maybe like Royce the 5'9", maybe, he's probably the more silly one lyrically, but when he gets around them, he doesn't really get very silly, so, I think sometimes that's, why some of their joints might not catch. And it's like, sometimes I think an artist does it even within themselves, like when you have Eminem and then you have the Slim Shady.
Mm-hmm.
But then even within D12, you have Bizarre.
Yeah.
G-Unit, you got your Tony Yayo.
Yeah. That's true.
And, that's so many examples. Like, I just keep coming up with them. Like, Lost Boys, you had your Freaky Tie.
That's a good point. I was looking up X-Clan or whatever like that, like the album, and I came across this article through this New York Times article from 1990 or whatever like that, and it was just kind of talking about it's essentially just talking about like conscious militant hip hop, whatever like that. And essentially, like whoever was writing it, this white journalist is trying to understand it, and it's called Radical Rap of Pride and Prejudice. And like it's talking about how MC Hammer has sold millions of albums. Quote, rap is still so close to street level that some rappers have decided they have nothing to lose by stating harsh, even divisive convictions. And It goes.
That just sounds like a Bill O'Reilly rant.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of, yeah, actually. Come think about it. But, you know, they talk about, well, the guy talks about Laquan, Movement X, and Paris.
Paris.
I don't really remember Paris. But,
Paris was part of, like Public Enemy affiliated. Like,
okay.
Like real militant.
Oh, okay. Well, and see, this is the thing though, like, he kind of focuses on them, and I think he kind of goes to X-Clan kind of sort of, but his focus is on like Laquan and like Movement X, and I vaguely remember Movement X, and so I went back and I listened to I looked at the video last night. Freedom Got a Shotgun, and it's so like militant that it's kind of funny, and you really can't take it seriously. Because like every gun they're shooting has knowledge in it or something like that, or, you know, whatever. And they're trying to get rid of these white devils out here, and I think, you know, the music video is kind of interesting because I think even like in certain elements of the music video they're like kidnapping white people or something.
Wow.
It was a really militant video, but like the song, I don't know. But supposedly I came across like this random article about the guy. I can't think of his name. Like the main rapper from Movement X, and he also like the MF Dooms and Cool Keys. He also he's like, you know, made a resurgence as like another person. Although I still don't know who the hell he is. Regardless of his resurgence, but it was pretty interesting. You know, like he really kind of like goes all throughout his career, like how he has, you know, reborn himself. And thinking about that, I guess another person too is Butterfly from Diggable Planets, and you know how he's doing this Shabazz Palaces thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I think this is like a new trend, and maybe this also has something to do with you know, this so-called renaissance of hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I mean, you know, like but it's weird though. I mean, because you know, like with MF Doom, you know, he kind of resurged, you know, a bit. I mean, way earlier, and so maybe other people kind of took his blueprint. But you know, he came up, you know, in the indie hip hop movement of, you know, 1997 to like what 2002 or 2003 when Def Jux took over everything practically.
Yeah.
And Raucous, of course.
Yeah, of course. I was just kind of thinking. Like how. I think as an artist, sometimes, you know, you start off as one thing, and sometimes before you're ready, you pop off when you haven't quite found your sound and your style. But now I think about it, you know, how many rappers have had different names and gone on different aliases? You know, they might start off rapping when they're in their preteens or whatever, and then they, you know, go to they start off rapping in their preteens, and then they change their name until they really find themselves. So like, I was just thinking about Kendrick Lamar, for example, and like how, you know, he put out a couple mixtapes under K-Dot, and then he really found himself and, you know, became Kendrick Lamar. Or like you look at J. Cole with The Therapist, and so he came out with, you know, J. Cole. So it's like we didn't really see that transformation because they weren't anything then. But, you know, I think some of it is an artist finding themselves, and then sometimes it's just an artist completely reinventing themselves. So it is. It's pretty interesting. hold on, I gotta take a break right here because somebody's calling. Let me hit you right back.
All right.
Call is now being recorded.
So, yeah, any remaining thoughts?
It's a good question. I would just say, to the listeners, I guess bringing back up Kool Keith, just go and listen to Dr. Octagon and Sex Style and check out the Total Orgasm 3.
And I'll say, while you're at it, go back and listen to D4L and Fabo, and you'll see where Young Thug got his style from. And check out some old Lil Wayne mixtapes, and make sure you act right when the police are around, so you don't die. That's only for our black listeners, though.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
All right. Well, and also the Carter documentary. Go and check out the Carter documentary.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. And make sure you check out channel10podcast.com, twitter.com/channel10pod, and channel10podcast on Facebook.